Alrighty, so I have gotten around to Labyrinth. I just wanted to document this because honestly, like going through the whole thing doesn't help a lot of people because it's literally all RNG anyway. So I didn't record all of this. This is me on the final boss, and I'm gonna see how it goes. Luckily, I do have Transcendent Bond, and I thought that was really gonna bite me. The second boss that I fought was Gloxenia. I'm pretty sure it was, and he was immune to all debuffs, and there was a couple of times where there were singular enemies that were immune to all debuffs, so that was quite a problem. You can see my team is a little bit weird. I originally had Shin here, but I just replaced him with Diane, so I think so far it's actually been going quite well. I got Bon, I think it was, in floor 2, so, I mean, depending on the festival character that you can kind of get, maybe that can sort of carry you for a little bit. Neither of these characters are debuff immune. They're just kind of like stun, freeze, petrify, like resistant. So I'm not 100% sure what to think so far. I assume I'm not going to be able to one-shot any of these characters, but Lilia has been really nice because of this this HP card. Like, you can gain HP back and everything, so that's really, really good. I hope that the Mark of Concentration goes on. It does. Okay, so that's going to lower his crit chance and everything as well, which is quite nice. We do have Taunt Up, which I think is good. Okay, not taking a whole lot of damage. I do have damage reduction from Bond, so that's been, great. I did think that he was going to be, like, my downfall. Okay, she's taking a lot of damage from him. But I did think that she was going to be, or Bond was going to be my downfall, just because most of the time the bosses and stuff are debuff immune, and that could have been a really big problem. So I'm happy that that has not been a huge issue so far. Because Chandler is just continuing to double attack each turn, I am going to try to just do as much damage to him as possible. Ooh, really nice damage. I have type advantage here. Can I kill? I doubt it. Okay, I do. Okay. So far, I mean, I have heard people, like before this came to Global, I had heard from a couple of different people that they were saying this was supposed to be a really hard season. Konata, my moderator, my main moderator, last night, he's always super into the Labyrinth seasons and everything like that. He was like, I don't see why people were saying it was hard. Like, I literally beat it on the second try. This is my first try, and I know that RNG has a lot to do with that. I understand. But so far, it's really not been too bad. And I know that when it comes to Labyrinth, it's a little bit more dependent on which characters you have access to. Like, if you're like a brand new player or something like that, I'm pretty sure you can only pull characters that you actually have in your roster. So that can definitely be a big hindrance. But with, I was going to say with the characters that we have nowadays, like, you should be able to hopefully roll some decent characters, but I would assume that the new Escanor is probably not able to be pulled in this. I would imagine 100%. Like, he's probably not on the list. I did see a post on Reddit. Somebody was using Light Escanor, and I mean, he's still a fantastic, like, PvE character and everything. Doesn't rely on debuffs or anything like that. Could be really good for, like, the single enemy, like, stages and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, this one really hasn't been that bad for me. But then again, I could have just gotten a really good lucky run. So let's talk about maybe. Can I look at my passives really quickly? Just make sure that you're not going for anything that's going to restrict you too heavily. Like, these are the ones that you start with, I think. I didn't even really look at these. Increases the hero's basic stats by 15% if the hero's combat class is 38,000 or higher at the start of the battle. So, I mean, just as you level up your characters and stuff, that tends to get, like, a lot better. I pretty much try to prioritize the Awakening tiles that give you Awakening and Super Awakening as much as possible up until the really late game. And then I needed 2 left. I had to make an executive decision to not go for those because there was another tile way later that I could have gotten. Ended up having to swerve that one, but was able to buy them in the shop anyway to get full True Awaken, full Super Awaken. So that really kind of worked itself out. I ended up having to go for a little bit of levels just because, the battles themselves weren't necessarily giving me the XP I would have wanted. But this is where the ones that I went for came into play, and some of these are good. Some of these were like UR rarity passives, so that is, obviously a big benefit, but you know, just going for general HP instead of like I had the option to go for like strength hero HP or speed hero HP, stuff like that. General defense, general HP, just making sure that I'm super tanky. Rolled that one a lot. I was expecting to see more like race-based passives or even characteristic-based passives and stuff like that, and I originally, as you can see by my team, kind of intended to go into a catastrophe team, but it didn't really end up working itself out that way. A lot of the later game, like late floor 2 into like floor 3 character tiles just really weren't giving me catastrophes, so I just took what I could get, and half the time, like, some of the options were pretty good. I do think that Lily is fantastic, even if you're not going for those stages, because once you get her to level 2, which it was kind of easy for me to do that because I had green Shin, so I could rank up if I got lucky on turn 2. But her, you know, she has a drain at turn 2, and it's an AoE drain as well, or at level 2, not turn 2. But that was really helpful to stop like heavy hitting ults and stuff like that, at least for a turn. And then that single target card that she has will heal up whoever they're targeting, because most of the time, if it's not an AoE skill, they are just drilling into one specific character, trying to get them down as much as possible. These passives right here, crit damage and crit chance, I don't necessarily recommend these. It did work out for me because I got Transcendent Bond, but some of the time going into these later game, or like later fights and stuff, a lot of the enemies end up becoming either debuff immune, so I wouldn't have even, realistically, I wouldn't have been able to use the Mark of Concentration and everything and get use out of the Snipe card, but a lot of the times they have really high crit resistance as well, so just, you know, take some of that stuff into consideration. This one didn't really have that issue. The first boss I'm pretty sure could be debuffed because I was using Shin at the time, and I could debuff into weak point skills and stuff like that, which was, you know, completely not a problem at all. The Loxenia, second boss, was debuff immune, and that was a slow fight. He was able to kill my Shin off because he was able to get his ultimate twice, so that was kind of a problem, but he was really only attacking one character. The other two characters that I had were kind of able to just whittle him down over time. So it just kind of worked itself out. Obviously not an ideal fight. You want to stay alive like the whole time and not lose any characters, but I don't know. I'm obviously a little biased here because my one and only run that I've done so far did end in success. So, I mean, just be very careful with the characters that you're choosing. Make sure that there's some synergy there. Make sure that your passives aren't like pigeonholing you into a specific, you know, color typing or anything like that. Try to go for like more broad sense stuff. And I understand, luck of the draw. Sometimes you just get stuff that doesn't work for you. But either, like if it's a shop stuff, anytime you get to a shop, check the passives, check the characters that you can choose from. Even if you're not going to choose those, it's nice to look at them because you can back out and not buy it, and just see what your options are, because that goes a long way, of course. So I'm going to mess around with the depths and everything. There's obviously a lot of grinding that comes into the late game if you want to clear the entire shop out. I think Tyr is the boss at the end of these, because I seen somebody on Reddit fighting Tyr, but he wasn't one of the bosses that I fought, so I'm assuming he's in the depths here. But hoping that this team does okay. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some debuff immunity in here that's probably going to mess me up, but who knows, maybe I can find some new characters and stuff like that, or, you know, now that I've beat it, I can restart my run, try to go for a different team build and everything like that. That's the beauty of Labyrinth. Like, you can kind of just reset. Also, go for those little stones, the red, blue, green stones that increase your stats. Super helpful. If you're losing a lot over and over again, you'll just end up, you know, getting enough of these to where it'll work out for you. I tried to grab them as much as possible from my first run. I was able to get 4 of them, 1, 2, and then 1, and those just go along like 40% regeneration rate and then 40% pierce rate on just grabbing the first one. Like, it's a no-brainer. Grab those. Like, obviously stacking them kind of ends up being diminishing returns, but you know, eventually you'll just have so many stats. It's not going to be, you'll just win just off of pure, you know, stats. So obviously that's going to be incredibly tedious, but you could do it. So either way, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was somewhat helpful. I know that I wasn't showing the entire run or anything like that, but Labyrinth is kind of samey for the most part. I mean, it's just all about like the tiles that you go for, making sure that your team has synergy, and obviously there's a lot of RNG involved in that. So just roll with the punches. Grab the best stuff you can. That's it from me. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know how your run went. Let me know your team, actually, because I know that sometimes these labyrinths have like a pretty clear-cut meta. Like Goddess team is really, really good a lot of the times, or you know, if Light Escanor is an option, I'm sure he's fantastic to have in this. So, you know, let me know because I'm interested. But subscribe. I'll see you guys later.